Alright, so I just put out a video about my top 5 hardest bosses in Monster Hunter World. And I feel like now is the perfect time to make a video about a crazy take that I got right now. A lot of people will call me crazy for this, but Monster Hunter World is a harder game than Elden Ring. But I do have my reasons. And once I get done explaining this shit, it's gonna make sense. So don't skip this shit. Alright, so number 1, the amount of time that you're fighting. Elden Ring, the amount of time you fight is 2 to 3 minutes, and that's if you don't know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, nigga, fights could easily be 30 seconds to a minute, right? And I do also want to say right now that I'm very qualified to say this shit. I beat Elden Ring 7 times. I have a character on New Game Plus 6 right now, and I'm nice at Monster Hunter, obviously. I got all the fatalities as weapons, so I'm very well versed in both of these games, so I can speak on this shit. So Elden Ring, nigga, you fighting for 2-3 minutes tops. Monster Hunter, if you know what you're doing, nigga, your fights is gonna be like 12-15 minutes. If you don't know what you're doing, it's gonna be like 20-25 minutes. So off rip, you're already fighting for way longer. And then I know a lot of people gonna say, but Mike, you can faint 2 times though. You can faint 2 times. Nigga, Elden Ring, nigga, once you die, you dead. Look, that is a good point, but listen, fainting, having 2 faints that's not as big of a crutch as you think. Especially when I'm done explaining this shit to you, bro, it's really not as big as a hand-holding mechanic as you think it is. So what I will say is Monster Hunter has a much lower floor, a much lower barrier to entry than Elden Ring does. Monster Hunter has very easy starting fights. I'm talking about once you get to like the higher levels of the game, right? And I'm talking about top level. I feel like Monster Hunter has a much lower floor, but a decently higher ceiling. Because in Elden Ring, you are fighting bosses that could 1, 2, 3 hit you. Monster Hunter, you are also fighting bosses that could 1, 2, 3 hit you, but for just like 10 times the amount of time, right? And Elden Ring, there is a lot more that can hold your hand. You have crushed weapons in Elden Ring. You have Mogwin Spear, you have a Blasphemous Blade, you have Dark Moon Greatsword, you have all these different spells, and even more after the DLC came out too, right? I know a lot of weapons were buffed and nerfed throughout the time, but I'm just talking about the game as a whole. So many different crushed weapons that could carry you to the game. And matter of fact, let's say hypothetically you just say fuck the weapons and fuck the spells. You could make a clone of yourself that copies your armor, copies your weapons, copies your spells. It could heal itself too. I've seen YouTubers make videos where they just let the clone solo bosses, and that shit works. Bro, Monster Hunter, nigga, there is no such thing, bro. Monster Hunter at the highest level will not baby you at all, bro. That shit is not holding your hand. You don't have anything crutch to rely on. Mike, multiplayer, nigga, Monster Hunter, number 1, multiplayer, your feints is shared with your whole group. So as a group, if y'all faint more than 2 times, the whole quest is over, and that goes for anybody in the group. And if you have 4 people in your group, the monster has 4 times the health. That doesn't apply to Elden Ring, so that makes co-op Elden Ring automatically more hand-holdy than Monster Hunter, right? So off rip, you have way more things to hold your hand. You have a much shorter amount of time where you had to perform and kill the boss. Whereas Monster Hunter, you fighting for way longer. So I just personally feel like Monster Hunter at the highest level has a higher ceiling but a much lower floor than Elden Ring. Because nigga, you have fights like Furious Rajang, Raging Brachydios, Tempered Kirin, the Fatalis, Elytrion, right? All of those bosses that I named, I guarantee you, you will struggle on those bosses far more than any boss you will ever face in Elden Ring. You will struggle for far longer. Elden Ring, you have so many ways around fighting. You have so many ways around it. Nigga, Monster Hunter, nigga, is box to die at the highest level. So that's my opinion. If you feel different, comment.